So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. And let's have a little chatty chat. I first heard this story a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't really pay attention to it because I really don't look at Shark Tank. I believe that's the name of the show, Shark Tank. I know what the show is. I know what it's about. Contestants come on to Shark Tank to try to sell their idea and get it patented, right? And the three judges, they're supposed to be these mega millionaires and business entrepreneurs and all of this other stuff. And that wouldn't be a problem if it was actually legitimate. But to me, I've always felt that that show was exploitation or exploitive in a sense. So here we go. A couple of weeks ago, a story came out that the black guy, I'm gonna call him the black guy on Shark Tank. I think his name is what's this bastard's name? Because I don't like him. I've never liked him. What's his name? Let's see. Uh, I think his name is Damon John. I believe that's his name. Let's see. Damon John. Yeah, that's his name. Let me see what his zodiac. Oh, no wonder. No wonder he's a fucking snake. No wonder he's a fucking February Pisces. No wonder. He is a February Pisces. No wonder he's a snake. No wonder he's a snake. Anyway, there were some contestants that came onto the show some years back, I believe. And again, I don't follow, but Damon, I believe he was the one that was dealing with them directly. It was a black couple, and the husband is a retired NFL player, and I believe he had some type of idea to revolutionize boneless. He created some type of not an invention, but he created something. He created something to revolutionize baby boneless baby back ribs. He did some type of mechanism with that. I don't, y'all follow me, okay? And I think that Damon was the one that they were directly dealing with mostly, right? So the couple now alleges that Damon scammed them allegedly out of a lot of money. You have to say allegedly because, YouTube is in cahoots with a lot of these people, a lot of these antichrist type of people. He scammed them allegedly out of a large percentage of their money. And it went to court, and the court sided with him. I think they were supposed to get millions, and they only ended up getting $650,000 out of their invention or whatever that was. And this man's invention was worth millions. And in the deal, Damon wanted 30% of the company or the profit of this man and woman's company and profit. I may be getting it a little muddy, but you all can go read the story for yourself. Okay? What ended up happening was, I'm assuming the couple ended up only getting, they said only 650,000, and he ended up getting millions off of their invention. Number one, he would not have owned 30% of my company. You feel what I'm saying? he would not have owned 30% of my company. And see, the problem with this too is that this is what happens when you don't have any good spiritual work backing you up. And obviously, they didn't have no good spiritual work backing them up. They obviously did not. See, this is what happens when you don't have any good spiritual advisors backing you up. Because I've always known that, like I said, I don't like that show. I think it's exploitive. I don't like it. And I think it makes people look kind of desperate in some ways. I don't care for it. Because my question is, how many people actually become successful? It's almost like dangling a carrot in front of a rabbit, saying, you're going to get it, you're going to get it. But as soon as you get closer to the carrot gets further and further and further and further away from you. You feel what I'm saying? So I've never liked that show, but I've never really liked that black guy, Damon. I've never really liked him. I'm going to call him Damon. I'm not going to call him the black guy. I'm going to call him Damon. Okay. I've never really cared for him. It was always something about his energy that really turned me off. And now that I know he's a fucking Pisces, now I know why. Because Pisces are sociopaths. They are manipulative. The men and the women. I don't care who gets mad. Okay, Pisces is my twin sign. You know, the twin sign to Virgo is Pisces. So I'm talking about myself too, in a way. Those are not active traits that I pursue, but I'm talking about myself too. Everybody has a dark side. Pisces are manipulative, they're sociopaths, they're psychopaths, and they will try to destroy you, and then they will hide their hands and say, "What did I do? I didn't do anything." They are really they can be some really um disgusting people as far as human wise. Same way with Tauruses. The men, anyway, and the women too, I guess, for some people. So now that I know what he is, that makes perfect sense. But what's really disturbing about all of this is how the court system sided with him. This couple took him to court and they tried to sue him. And what he did was he got a restraining order against them so they could no longer tell people that he scammed them out of money. They could no longer tell their story that they were duped and they were done wrong. They can no longer tell their story now because the court system, and by the way, this not that it matters, race doesn't matter, but this is a black couple that this black man did this to. And we're supposed to sit here and believe that I'm gonna leave that alone. But people who get it, you get what I'm saying. This was black people, other black people that this man did this to. And again, I'm not saying it has to be about race, but I'm just looking at it for what it is because everybody is always talking about how white people are victimizing black people and doing these things to black people. And I know that this country has a history of whatever. But how come this is not being spotlighted? And how come this is not being shown how this man is being a predator in a sense? He's being predatory in a sense to this black couple. He stole all of their money from an invention that he didn't even create. So now they can not only did the court prevent them from talking about it, they had to remove, I'm assuming, because I was reading some comments online, they had a YouTube channel, but they had to remove all of the videos that they had posted about what this man did to them. And you all know that was some goddamn warlock work. Some warlock work. You all know that. You all know that was some warlock magician type of bullshit. Who the fuck he know up in that court system? You know? But it just really goes to show you how you cannot really depend on people to help you grow your business. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing something right now. I am in the very infancy stages of doing something right now. And you know what? I would rather have 4 or 5 subscribers and build from there than to have someone come in and so called help me only to turn on me later on. Because that's kind of what happened to me over there in that conscious community. See, people always have an ulterior motive, whether it be energetic or whether it be monetary. In this case, it was monetary with this couple and this Shark Tank bullshit. You should always get some type of spiritual advisement or work, whatever it is that you need, before you go into ventures like this. This couple was duped and scammed, and I feel so bad for them. I feel really bad for that couple. Because not only did he steal their money allegedly, he went to the court system and the court system sided with. So let's get this straight. Not only do you violate me and steal from me and betray me, now you want to silence me? That's Pisces for you. That is how Pisces do. They are very cutthroat people. But I'm timing a foot in motherfuckers. But they're very cutthroat. They're very cutthroat. What that couple needs to do, they need to go to somebody and do some work, get some work done on that man. Get some work done on that man. Because that was really, really fucked up what he did. But it really just signifies and it really just shows the sign of the times that we really live in. We're living under the Antichrist energy. Nobody really does their spiritual due diligence anymore. Black people didn't used to go off half cocked without some type of spiritual protection and some type of spiritual backing. Before I go to the grocery store, before I step foot outside my door, I do some type of spiritual protection ritual. You have to cut, like the Christians say, you have to stay prayed up. Because you have devils like that demon person. You have devils just like that will steal your motherfucking soul. And that's exactly what he did to that couple. He stole your soul. That was your invention. That was your baby. So again, he stole it and now he gets to profit off of it and you can't even say anything about it. The court sided with him and silenced the originators and the creators of that invention, which was that couple. I mean, what type of world is that? What type of world or reality is that? That is why it's important. Listen, sometimes it ain't always about money. And how much money is enough money? You feel what I'm saying? How much money is enough money? Because I'm sure him being a former NFL player, I don't think he was living that bad. You know what I'm saying? I think what he should have done was he should have patented and he should have built his own business and his own company from scratch without any help from any type of people on TV, basically, because you can't trust these people. See, if he would have came to me, I would have told him from the get-go, that is not a good move. I would have told him because I already sized up Mr. Damon's energy. His energy ain't no good. He's a fucked up individual. I can see that just by looking at him that he's a fucked up individual. You know, I can just tell. He's 54 years old. He's in that age bracket. He's in his 50s. No offense, but when men get in that age bracket, a lot of men get in that 50s age bracket, they turn into the devil. When they get late 40s, early 50s, or mid 50s, when they get into that age bracket, something happens to them. They don't care about nobody's feelings. They hurt people. They don't care who. They don't care about the ramifications of their actions. They just simply don't care. They're out to use and abuse people. It's something that really transforms in them in that age bracket that I've noticed. Men in that 58 in those 50s age bracket, they turn into some straight devils. Low-level devils at that, because Damon is a low-level devil. Because he didn't come up with that creation. So is that what Shark Tank, is that what they do? Allegedly, I'm going to say. They steal ideas and, inventions and creations from people who don't have as much money and power and backing as they do. And for him to have done that to a black couple, for him to, even though race ain't got, if he did that to anybody, it would have been fucked up. But for him to do that to a black couple, especially a black couple, for him to have done that, him being a black man, it really just gives credence to what people say about black men in general sometimes, that you cannot be trusted. That you cannot be trusted. But then again, that's not, his energy is not that. He doesn't have human. Is that a human spirit in him? No. That's not a human. That's not human. That's not human. That's more of a darker type of reptilian type. I understand reptilian, but then there's a darker type of reptilian energy. That's a darker reptilian type of energy in him. And I can actually see it. That's a darker type of reptilian frequency that he's tapping into. And I can sense that. No emotion, no compassion, cutthroat. That's a dangerous person. But these are the people that we are constantly forced to look up to. These antichrist types of people. He's antichrist. He is part of that antichrist type of energy. And they have people in every sector of society, just like in the movie The Omen. They have people in, I've been going back looking at The Omen because a lot of movies foretell what's to come and what's really going on. And they had people in The Omen. Remember, Damien had people in every sector of society. He had people in the medical field that worshiped him. He even had priests. He even had religious, secular Catholic priests that were pretending to be Catholic, but they were infiltrators for him. He had people in the medical field. I might have mentioned that already. He had people in the court system. He had people everywhere that were part of the Watch movement. It was called the Watch movement. He had people everywhere. And if you were someone that got out of line, or if you were someone that was a threat to him, you would be killed. You might as well say that he unalived that couple. You might as well say that because he took their dream, he took their invention. And from what I understand, and I could be wrong now, it's useless to them because he's the one making millions of dollars off of it. Wow. Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting. But they need to find them a good spiritualist that can do some work. They need to find them a good spiritualist that can do some work, that can maybe get them some of the justice that they deserve, that the court system did not issue. But they should have consulted a spiritualist before they even entered into that deal. They should have consulted a spiritualist or a spiritual advisor, and they would have told them, you need to just stick with your own idea and ideology and build from there. But sometimes black people, we get greedy. Let's just keep it 100. We get greedy and we want more and more and more and more, but we don't understand the more. We don't understand the more, that once you start getting the more, like they say, new levels, new devils. And that was a devilish move that man made, but he's a Pisces. So I understand it. I really understand it. I really don't know why they have Pisces as a water sign. Pisces really should not be a water sign or representation of fish. Pisces should probably be more of a air or fire sign because that is more so how they operate. They operate more like an air or fire sign, in my opinion. I think that Virgo should go along more so with let me think. I think that Virgo should go along more with Cancer as a twin sign because I tend to get along better with Cancers than I do Pisces. Pisces can be cool at times, but you got to keep your eye on them motherfuckers because they are jealous, sociopathic, psychopathic people. And they are very low key jealous. They could be living in a mansion and you could be living in a shack. But if that shack that you're living in has something in there that they think that is valuable, it could be a crumb. They will be so jealous of you and they will try to destroy you. But that couple, they should have gotten some type of spiritual advisement or advisor or some type of advisory before they went into that deal. Because I would have instructed them first off, you don't give anybody 30% of your company. That's a no no. That's a no no, especially if they're non family members. And even then, you don't do that. And I'm referring to Dynasty, you don't do that. He wanted 30% of the company. That was a bad deal right there. But see, so like I said, sometimes black people, we see dollar signs, but that's all we see. We don't see the possible ramifications of our actions. And sometimes we get very greedy. And like I said, more, more new levels, new devils. And they found out the type of devil that he was. He definitely has connections within the court system. That was all orchestrated. That was all orchestrated. And what I've heard some people call, this did not come from me, but I've heard people call this chaotic litigation. I've heard other spiritualists talk about this, and that is exactly what that was. That was nothing but chaotic litigation, where the little man gets duped because the bigger person has connections the within the legal system. So the little person, or the so-called little person, gets duped. That's why it's important to have some type of spiritual backing when you go into these battles. You got to do something, even if you may not get the result that you want. By you having some type of spiritual backing, if you go down, the spiritual backing will make sure that that person goes down too. I've seen stuff like that happen where you may not have gotten the I'll tell you a story. Tell you a story. I knew someone that had a case, right? They had a case. And the case didn't go through as they wanted to. This was some years back in 2014 or something like that. And they thought they had a case. And what happened was the case didn't go. They did the case, and they ended up not having a case. Let's just say that. But the law firm that they were dealing with was dicking them around, playing games, and not really making things easy for them, knowing that the information that they were requesting that this person get, the information would have been very hard for that person to get. And they weren't, I mean, the person tried and tried to get as much information because what they wanted 20-year-old information. They wanted 20-year-old information. And that person was like, well, how am I supposed to get it? Because at the time, that person was a child. They wanted information from the late mid 90s. So they ended up dropping the person's case. But what ended up happening was the, what do they call I guess you say the owner of the law firm, the head lawyer, he ended up, let's just say, he ended up unaliving himself. See, when you do dirty practices and when that energy is not pure, that shit falls back on you. Not you, I'm talking about the people that's doing the dirty work. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I'm making the point that you have to do some type of work. You have to do some type of work to cover yourself. And they, unfortunately, that couple didn't do that. And they probably, are Christians. But damn, you didn't even do no prayer work, get no prayer warriors around you. You didn't even do that. I mean, something. I mean, wow, that was really that was crazy. That was crazy. But again, you really have to think how much money is really enough money. Because having $650,000 sitting in my bank account or $1 million in my bank account, I would be satisfied with that. Hell, I'll be satisfied with shit 100,000 in my bank account. I'll be satisfied with that. I would be satisfied with whatever the universe brings to me. Whatever blessing the universe brings to me, if it's $10 extra, I'm happy for that. I can get me a loaf of bread, maybe, and the other $4 I can go and maybe get me a pack of chicken wings, shit, or a dozen of eggs, whatever. I am thankful for whatever the universe gives me, and it's just tragic that happened. That's just very tragic. That's very tragic, and it's very unfortunate. And you know what? Him getting away with that as a society, that should really frighten us because that's really showing us that unless you have money, you really don't have any rights. Unless you have money, you really don't have any rights, according to them, you know? But I think that that football player, he's an older guy. Him and his wife, they should have just created their own company and they should have just left Shark Tank out of it. But I think that they saw millions. And the thing is that they always say the devil, I'm not talking about Satan, but they say that the devil never lets you get ahead. And that's true. The devil never lets you get ahead of him. He always keeps that carrot, like I said earlier, he keeps that carrot dangling in front of you. In this case, the barbecue rib shit, you know? The devil never lets you get ahead. It's always an ulterior motive, and there's always an obstacle or a blockage. When you think you've gotten through one, here comes another one. Like I said, new levels, new devils. And I really don't think that they had all of the information. Because had they had all of the information, I don't think they would have been in this position. I don't think they would have ended up in this position. Anyway, um, that's all I really have to say on that matter. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to talk about? One more thing. Cancel the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Cancel all, just cancel them. All of these reality shows, they need to go. They are no longer entertaining. Um, just let it go. They have ran their course. And can Bravo go back to being a movie channel? Does anyone else remember when Bravo was a movie channel? Or am I tripping? Bravo was a movie channel that used to have a lot of good movies. Back in the, what was that, the early 2000s, late 90s? Bravo was a movie channel. Now, 20 some odd years later, they had turned it into a, this edifice that we see now, this tragedy of all of these, reality shows. Can we just get back to real creativity, really good movies? Like I said, Bravo was a movie channel. I'm old enough to remember that. And I'm sure other people remember that too. They used to show movies on Bravo and this other movie in this other movie channel called Drama or True TV or Drama TV until they started showing all of these reality shows and all of that crap. But they used to show really good movies that you normally would not see anywhere else, and they would be really, really good. And the people could really act. Even if they were unknown people, they could act. But now we live in a world of thieves and uncreativity and, all these drug addicts and stuff like that. And, that brings me to another thing that I want to briefly touch on too. It just seems like that in this society that we live in, that is why when when I be hearing black men talk about, oh, the black man is so hard for the black man. No, it's not. Because when you all get out of jail, you all can get construction jobs. They give you all types of benefits and everything. You feel what I'm saying? So you can rebuild your life. They give you all more benefits than they do people who are law-abiding citizens. But I came to a realization of something. The fake powers that be, they really don't have any power, but let's just say for the sake of argument, just so you can, for identifying purposes, The fake powers that be, they really are invested in crackheads, murderers, people that commit heinous crimes. They are really invested in those types of people. They really are. They are invested in them. That is who they put their investments in. Those types of people. But when you are a law abiding citizen, they look at you as weak. They look at you as useless. And I guess one of the reasons that they invest so much in criminals and, those types of people is because that is who they are, truthfully. They're drug addicts, they're criminals, they lack compassion, they lack a certain amount of humanity. They are just awful people in general. Just talking in this reality and how this reality, when you have to put your toe in it a little bit, like I'm doing now, you just realize how messed up this reality really is sometimes. And the people that are invested in, the people that they invest in criminals, crackheads, and all this other stuff, right? They invest in them. But then they will sit up and tell a woman that she should be ashamed for being a single mother or having a child out of wedlock, right? What's that guy's name to make just to prove a point? Where's my phone? Let me look him up. What's his name? Jeremy Meeks. He's fine as a motherfucker. He's really good looking. I ain't gonna lie. He's good looking. You know, he's good looking. But he was a criminal. He was a criminal. And they have deified him. They have immortalized him. And they've put him on a pedestal simply because of his good looks. And he plays in a lot of Tubi movies where he plays violent criminals. He should have a lot of experience, I guess, in playing those types of roles. I don't know exactly what his I don't want to, put something on him that's not true. Let me see what type of let me see something. And he's an Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken, and they're interesting energies too. Let me see, what did he do? He was convicted on federal charges of being a felon in possession of a firearm and grand theft. Upon his release, he began a modeling career. So this is what happens to people. This is what they invest in. This is what the Antichrist system invests in. I know people make mistakes in life. I get that. I know people make mistakes. And I know people, sometimes commit crimes and sometimes things, I get that. But I find it very interesting how this man is now a famous person simply because of how he looks. And no one is looking at the crimes that he committed. And this is who children are supposed to look up to? Not saying that he's, a role model or trying to be one, but I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking really legitimate questions because it really pulls the veil back on the society that we live in. These are the types of people that they uphold and put on pedestals. You have to look a certain way in order for them to accept you. So it's okay that he was, charged with grand theft. That's okay. That's no problem. But I'm showing you these are the types of people that they invest in. And it really makes sense. And people who are law abiding citizens, who are decent people, who don't commit crimes, they get thrown by the wayside. They get thrown away. They get treated unjust and unfair. They tell us abide by the law. They tell us, oh, you got to go by the law. They tell us, oh, respect the law. They tell us if you do certain things, you will get certain rewards. If you don't break the law, you will be able to get whatever job you want, right? They tell us all of these things. He probably has some type of Masonic energies backing him up, more than likely. He looks like he has some type of Masonic energies backing him up. And that's another thing. A lot of these Masonic energies, they back up this shit too. A lot of those black men that are Masons and shit, a lot of them niggas ain't shit. A lot of them ain't shit. Yeah, I said it. Because they're not really the representation for the real Masons who used to exist back in the day, because the real ones didn't do shit like this. It was a certain mechanism or a certain what do they call it? There was an order to their order at one time. But now it's all about taking advantage of the little man. Or maybe it's always been about that. I could be wrong. Maybe it's always been about that. Taking advantage of the little man, investing in the most horrible people in society and putting them in in positions of power over others, or putting them in positions and in place where they can make a better life for themselves, and making it more difficult for the more spirited people. It's the same thing with these reality shows that we look at. Same thing. These people have no fucking talent. I am tired of seeing Candy Burris trying to act. I am tired of her and her non-acting, untalented ass husband trying to act and getting into the acting industry. I'm sorry, but I am tired of it. Stick to what you know. You know music. I don't want to see Candy in no movies. I don't want to see no Drew Sidora in no movies. I don't want to see them in no movies. They cannot act. I would rather see Beyonce in a movie before them. Shit. Real talk. And I'm not a Beyonce fan like that. And I don't give a fuck who that offends. But anyway, I'm tired of it. Is anybody else tired of it? They keep forcing these untalented people down our throat. Now, when it comes to singing and Candy writing music, she good for that. I give her that. She can write some motherfucking music. But then there have been allegations even with that. You saw how her and Escape, how they got down, and all of the drama with Escape. And we're not going to sit here and lie, although she's doing some, some shady shit. But we all know the real voice behind Escape is Latasha. That's the real voice. But I'm just tired of these people, these antichrist people. Candy is antichrist too. That's what Nene was trying to show us. Nene was trying to show us what she was really all about. But we were too blinded by Nene's being mean. No, no, no. Even I was caught up in that. Nene wasn't being mean. Nene was being real. She was being real. And trust me, her departure from the housewives, that was planned a long time ago. That was all pre-planned. Don't you get it? That was pre-planned. All of that was pre-planned. Nene leaving, and then Candy moving up, taking the position as the lead housewife. And she can't even carry the show. She can't even carry the show. She can't carry that show. She don't have the talent and the charisma to do that. She can't do it. She's no Teresa Giudice. Okay? She's no Teresa Giudice. Sheree can't carry the show. Sheree is boring too. She used to be exciting, but that was only when Nene and Kim and the ladies was on the show, when it did have some type of entertainment with it. Now the show has become a cesspool of, I don't know, deception and lies and talking about lesbianism all the time and all of this other stuff. Nothing against lesbians, but I'm just saying in an exploitive way. Because the people who are claiming to be involved in certain activities, they're not even lesbians per se. They're supposed to be straight women. So why are you kissing all on another woman's lips, Drew? Why are you kissing all on other women if you're supposed to be straight? I understand people have experiences and stuff like that, but word on the curb is that she's in a full-fledged relationship with another woman. And then she's denying it and lying about it. And then then on top of that, she's married to a no good ass man. There's just no, the bottom line is this. There's no class anymore. It never really was. But at least it was some. At least it was moderately entertaining. Now it's just nothing but toxicity. And I thought Marlo would help the show, but Marlo ain't helping. Sorry, Marlo. I was rooting for you being on there, but you know what? You won't be missed if you're gone. I'm sorry. I just have to be honest. Because there's no real authenticity anymore. And that's what I'm talking about in the world in general. I know I'm talking about reality shows, but there's no authenticity. Everyone is forced and fake, it seems like. And then people in the average world think they can do that to other people. They think they can force themselves on other people. You can't force yourself on me. There's two people that I know now that keep trying to befriend me. It's a lesbian couple. I don't like them like that. I'm talking about them, not lesbians. I'm talking about them. I don't like them like that. I don't want to be your friend. Stop trying to force yourself on me. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to come to your wedding or to your reception. I don't like y'all like that. Jesus. Don't you get tired of people trying to force themselves on you? If you say no, I don't want to be bothered with you. Leave me alone. I don't want to be your friend. Grown ass motherfucking people trying to force adults to be their friends. No. Get a fucking life. Get a cat. Get a hobby. Do something. But leave me the fuck alone. Jesus. Seriously. But this is the type of stuff that we're living in now. This is the reality that we're living in, is what I meant. All these untalented people, and all of these criminals, and all of these, misfits of society. This is what this world invests in, because it's antichrist, and it's a distraction. It's a distraction. Now, Jeremy Meeks is good to look at. I'm not gonna lie, he's good to look at. He's good to look at. But as I get older, I realize just because someone is good to look at don't mean that they're gonna be good for my bedroom. And if they are good for my bedroom, it's just simply for that. It ain't for anything else. It's just for that. Just for that. And then they can go on about their business. No friendship, no commitment, because you have to understand the people that you're dealing with. I want our creativity back. I want people who actually have talent. We want to see talent and creativity back in the world. Not this forced bullshit. Not manufactured drama. If there's a real beef between two people, we want to see the breakdown and the breakthrough like we used to see a long time ago. But all we see now are breakdowns. Why is Drew crying? You're supposed to be a Taurus. Why are you crying? Because Sheree asked you a simple question. You damn near 40 fucking years old. And you're crying. You're a grown woman and you're crying because Sheree brought up the fact that you didn't pay somebody. Just like you brought up shit about her not paying people. But can't nobody do that to you? See, that's how them Tauruses are. They can dish it, but they can't take it. You talked about Sheree. Why can't she talk about you? Capricorns ain't gonna let you get away with nothing. Even though Sheree acts more like a Taurus to me, but that's another story. But them Capricorns ain't gonna let you get away with nothing. And even though Drew acts more like a Virgo to me, but they ain't gonna let you get away with nothing. Them Capricorn child. She last week she got up from the table, running away, crying, instead of just sitting there like a grown woman and everybody running out to her. Oh, Drew! Drew is a grown ass motherfucking woman, and she should be able to stand in her motherfucking shit. I don't care what's going on with her and her husband. Sheree does not have to facilitate her. She's a grown ass woman. Now, do I agree with what Sheree did? Yes. Yes. Because I feel like if you can talk about me, then I can talk about you. And I don't care what your gender is, I don't care how old you are. If you talk about me, I'm going to talk about you. And that's how I feel. And Kenya, let me say this to you. Kim Zolciak, she has it out for you. And I saw a little bit of the Housewives today, just a little bit. I saw a little bit of it today, well, yesterday. And Kenya says she feels like somebody putting some roots or something on her because she keeps going in and out of the hospital, falling, getting sick, don't feel well. Yeah, it's Kim Zolciak. It's Kim Zolciak because when Kim Zolciak came back a couple of weeks ago and met up with Sheree along with Lisa Wu and Deshaun Snow, When they all got together and met up, Nene should have been there. Nene should have been there. Most definitely, Nene should have been there. She should have been there. But when Kim Zolciak came to that luncheon, something was mentioned about Kenya. I don't remember. And you know what Kim said? That B still alive? I said, oh, she having work done. Because we all know Kim goes to spiritualists and psychics and stuff like that. She goes to them types of people. So Kenya girl, Kim, she's the, you talking about this Marlo. It ain't no Marlo. That ain't no Marlo doing no work on you. That's Kim having work done on you more than likely. That is Kim having work done on you more than likely. And Kim is a Taurus as well. That's Kim. That ain't no Marlo. And sometimes people doing work on you, it's just deserved. Because Kenya, to be honest with you, you've been acting like a total you know what lately. You are unreasonable. You are narcissistic. You used to be reasonably entertaining. Like when you and Portia used to go back and forth, I was on your side then. But now, with this stuff with you and Marlo, you have become very, very toxic. Very, very toxic. And you think that you're on a level that you're not on. You're not there, my dear. You're not there. And don't get me wrong, I still love you, Kenya, and I still like you. I still like you, but you're not there, honey. You have a beautiful daughter. Your daughter is beautiful. That's one thing I will give you. You seem to be a very good mother. I will give her that much. But the way that you conduct yourself on that show, it is truthfully, it looks like your time on that show is coming to an end. That's my prediction. Candy's time on that show is coming to an end as well. That's my prediction, and everybody else is saying it too. I think that they're going to have to really revamp the Housewives. If that show is going to continue, it cannot continue in its current state. This is what they need to do. Listen to me very well and carefully. This is what they need to do. They need to get rid of Drew. They need to get rid of Sanya. Okay? They need to get rid of Sanya. Get rid of Drew. Get rid of Sanya. And they need to demote Marlo back to an official friend. Okay? So get rid of Drew, Sanya, Marlo. Get rid of Moneta. I thought Moneta was going to be good, but I don't like her now. And get rid of that Courtney person. Okay? Y'all need to get rid of Courtney and Moneta altogether. They don't need to come on the show, period, no more. Stop putting so much emphasis on these fake ass friends. So here we go. Get rid of Drew. Get rid of Sanya. Get rid of Marlo. Make her a friend. Get rid of Courtney and Moneta altogether. I don't even want to look at them. Okay? And get rid of Drew completely. Get rid of Sanya completely. And that leaves Candy, Kenya, and Sheree, right? Candy, Kenya, and Sheree. That leaves them. And this is what you need to do. You need to bring back Eva Marcel. You need to bring Eva Marcel back. You need to bring Portia back. You need to bring Portia back. I know Nene is not going to come back, so we can't do that. Okay? But we need to really add someone to the show who is a well-known person, because I didn't know who Sanya Ross was, to be honest with you. I'm not into sports and Olympics and all that shit. And I really didn't know who Drew Sidora was either. I didn't know who she was. You need to bring someone on the show that we all recognize. When I go on Beverly, even though I don't watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, when I turn on that show, I know who Kyle Richards is. I know who Garcelle Bouvet is, if that's how you pronounce her name. But she's a beautiful woman, beautiful black woman. I know who she is. I know who Lisa Rinna is. I know who these people are because they have foundation and legacy. I know who Lisa Rinna's husband, Harry Hamlin, is. I know who these people are. They're recognized. They're stars. I know who they are. But when I turn on Atlanta, that's supposed to be the representation for black people. And you have, if you're going to revamp, you have to revamp with people that we understand and know, people that we know. It needs to be a bigger cast. You need to bring back Claudia Jordan. Bring back Claudia Jordan. And let me think. Who else would be a good addition to somebody that's younger? Um, Not Keke Palmer. No, I don't like her that much for that. I like her, but not for that. Um, Trying to think. Somebody that's young, in their 30s, 40s, something like that. Um, Trying to think. Sheree, Candy, Kenya, Portia, Claudia Jordan. Who else? I'm trying to think. I don't want to bring anybody else back. I know Nene's not going to come back. Nene's not going to come back. Phaedra, she's going over to Married to Medicine. Stupid. I swear. Who else? I'm trying to think, y'all. I'm trying to think. Who would be a good addition to that cast? Because they need to expand that cast. They don't need to bring Kim Fields back. That didn't work out the first time. Um, they need someone who can keep up with those ladies. Somebody that we know. Somebody that we know. And I'm trying to think, but I can't think of any. And not no off-brand person that is only known in Atlanta. I'm talking about somebody that we all will know. That is what they need to do. They need to bring someone on that we all will know. You know what I'm saying? Someone we all will know and would recognize. And it has to be somebody that's a little bit younger. Um, Maybe Malaysia from Basketball Wives. Why not Malaysia? Why not Malaysia? Or somebody from one of those Basketball Wives franchise. Why not one of them? That would be good. Doesn't Malaysia live in Atlanta now? That would be really good if they did that. Maybe Malaysia. So that's Portia, Malaysia, Claudia Jordan, Kenya, Candy, and Sheree. Isn't that right? Claudia Jordan, Malaysia Fargo, Candy Burrs, Sheree, Kenya, and Portia. And you know what? Bring Marlo on too. If if it was that cast, Marlo would fit perfectly. She don't really have nobody to, you know what I mean? It's just not enough fire. But if they had Malaysia in there and Marlo, that would be good. So Marlo, I resurrect you, Marlo. I redeem you. I redeem you, child. They should do that. They probably should do that. They could do that. That would work. That would work. Even Vivica Fox. What's wrong with Vivica Fox? even though she's a little bit older than 40, but so what? She would do good on there. Vivica Fox would be good. Somebody that we all know that is really worldwide. Somebody that we all would know, you know? But, child, listen, I done been here talking enough. That's all I really have to say. Thanks.